I bet you can get a lot of junk in that trunk. Not the best view. Yeah, that's better. The back, from the back. You're a good girl. That's right. Hello there. I'm not doing anything. This is dishwashing soap. Flower scented. Volkswagen. Right? 10 years ago, they were the top dog, the biggest automaker in the world, right? And if you check the news recently, you might have heard something troubling about them. According to a German magazine report, the company is about to announce layoffs of 100,000 people, and it would close 4 factories in Germany, as well as restructure the way the company works as a whole. I think this information is a lot more than a simple rumor, and it's meant to spread, to judge the market's reaction to negative news and propose something that could be disruptive not only for the automaker but also its customers, right? First, let's get the information out of the way. 100,000 people. There is no timeline available for this. It's not official. However, Reuters claims it has 2 sources, and I believe this information is nothing more than a leak, an internal leak from the CEO and the CFO, letting us know what they plan to do so they can gauge the backlash from unions and Germans and buyers and fans and shareholders, right? It's not just a leak, right? There is no time schedule. However, we do know some of the models made at these 4 factories that are about to be closed could be discontinued soon. So although they're saying these losses, job losses, would not happen immediately, it could be only a matter of a few months to a couple of years before they start firing people. 4 factories. Emden, Zwickau, Hanover, and Neckarsulm. The first 2 employ about 9,000 people and have been switched from their traditional roles to produce VW's roster of electric cars. The ID3, 4, 5, 7, and the wagon version of the 7, as well as 2 Audi Q4 models, which are identical to the ID4, and the Cupra Born. Hamburg employs about 15,000 people and has been rolling out commercial vehicles like the Transporter series since 1956. It's been making vans for Europe, and not only Europe, for 70 years, right? This is so much more than the failure of the electric car launch. This is Volkswagen presumably doing one of these and basically giving up on commercial vehicles, light to medium-sized commercial vehicles, especially for the European market. I believe that in place of the Transporter series, Volkswagen is going to let Ford assemble a rebadged version of the Transit for them, similar to how Ford let Volkswagen make their small van out of the Caddy, right? And they also make the Buzz there, but the Buzz is not really relevant from a market standpoint, right? Audi is Neckarsulm factory. This is the one that kind of gets to me, right? As a fan of Audi, you know what Neckarsulm makes, right? It used to make I remember writing customers who went there on vacation to pick up special built-to-order RS6s in cool colors, right? Everything that's historically Audi, the RS6, the RS7, the S6, the A4 series, the A5, is tied to Neckarsulm, right? People go there on vacation. It's a museum. It's, I believe, almost half of Audi's identity in Germany. And the idea that they might be closing the factory is puzzling, because they just launched the A5 series. They just revealed the new RS5, right? And it's a similar story with the A6 and the brand new, like, they made the all-road so interesting, such a lifestyle choice, with fender flares like an RS and dancing air suspension. Why would you spend tens of billions on those cars, on those projects, if you're gonna close Neckarsulm, right? This is obviously a tragedy for thousands and thousands of German families, right? Not only working for Volkswagen and Audi in Germany, but also the fans of those models, the people working in the factories that made parts for those cars, and everybody living in those towns, right? Just imagine how much taxpayer money lowers, how much tax money lower Saxon states are going to lose. Just imagine how much tax money those German states are going to lose. Saxony, Lower Saxony, I believe, right? Money for schools, for hospitals. This is a personal tragedy. Something that has not happened in the history of the brand, right? Of either VW or Volkswagen. Volkswagen has never closed a factory. Germany has wholly relied on the success of its auto industry to continue to grow in the past 70 years, right? Almost as a footnote to the story, I found something that is almost as interesting, if not more interesting, which is they're letting slip that the brands could be split from one another and individually listed on the stock exchange. It's been presented as a win-win, which would supposedly allow primarily Volkswagen, but also Audi, more flexibility, more ability to change, to adapt to changes in the market. In theory, that could be great. But explain to me this. Why does Peugeot, Opel, Dodge, Ram, right? Companies that have very little to do with each other. Why do these companies combine into Stellantis? It's for the added leverage of purchasing power you get, right? If you have to order 1,000,000 tires from China for your latest 1.6 TDI economy car, not that they make the 1.6 anymore, would you rather become a part of a company that sells 1,000,000 cars a year or 9,000,000 cars a year, right? So why would they split? Audi is so connected to Porsche now. Their engines, their platforms. Volkswagen, the MQB platform, the MEB platform. These European companies are so joined at the hip that I believe separating them could prove fatal. So why risk it? My personal theory, it's just a personal theory. I believe this way they can reduce the number of models they sell, reduce the number of individual cars manufactured from 9 million even further, which is the opposite of what they're suggesting they want to do, right? Because the problem is Volkswagen isn't making enough cars. It has capacity for 12 million, but it makes 9. They want to reduce that and pull a Ferrari, right? Pull a Ford Bronco. High profit, lower volume, lifestyle, heritage. We'll only give you the good stuff if you opt for the highest trim level possible. Something they're already doing to a degree. And since the business model works, they want to do that further, right? And maybe leave some of the volume cars to production in China. Although the way I see it now, they're not even going to do that. The point of the splitting these companies, would be to preserve the value of the stock, right, without having the volume. You would just end up with the Volkswagen logo. That would be valued highly on the stock exchange, but they would bring production down, right? Its valuation would be based on the brand, similar to how you see Ferrari selling $100 t-shirts, similar how you see Caterpillar selling underwear instead of actual excavators and actual caterpillars, right? You would see Volkswagen, the t-shirt company. Of course, this does not excuse the failures of the brand in the past decade. The diminishing quality seen in their interiors, capacitive buttons, the ill-fated launch of their ID Buzz in the wake of Dieselgate, right? But that doesn't mean we should allow them to burn the house down and just sell off t-shirts, right? Think about that, and I'll see you next time.